Hello, my name is Keeli Hunter, and I am from Windsor. I will be attending Escoffier next July. Today, I will be making lime raspberry Petit floors. I chose these because my mom makes a really good raspberry filling, and I wanted to incorporate it in my video. So you're going to want to preheat your oven for 375. Good.
First, you're going to want to prep your pan. By spraying Pam or having butter on the pan will help the parchment paper stay in place to place the cake inside. I use parchment paper so that the cake doesn't stick to the pan and it's easier to pull out of the pan. It also helps from cooking evenly. As you can see, I push into the corners as even as possible. It's not going to be perfect, but it always works as best as it can. And after that, you're going to butter the top of your parchment paper just to be safe. Here I'm just cutting off the extra parchment paper just to keep the parchment paper out of the way of the cake. As well as being left-handed, it's quite complicated, but you figure it out.
Helpful hint. Always wash your hands. Alright. Put your hand to the side.
For the chiffon cake, you're going to mix all dry ingredients except for granulated sugar. You're going to have 14.5 ounces of cake flour, 8.75 ounces of confectioner's sugar, and 0.5 ounces of baking powder. You're going to sift these together. Obviously, I don't have a sifter, so all I did was a wire strainer and mixed it together. We are then going to add the rest of the ingredients, counting 3.25 ounces of eggs, 6 ounces of oil, and 6.75 ounces of whole milk, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And make sure to mix well. Next, in a large bowl, you're going to take 9.5 ounces of granulated sugar and 13 ounces of egg whites, and you're going to whisk. I start in the bowl just to mix it and then add it to the mixer and mix till nice and fluffy.
So while this is mixing and we're whipping the eggs and the sugar, we're going to want to mix them and we're going to fold them together, and then we're going to add it to our cake pan and put it in the oven.
That means that it's ready for the next step. Here's where we start folding. Pour the egg whites and granulated sugar into the cake batter and fold over and over again until it's mixed. We are then ready to add our batter to the pan. Make sure that your parchment paper stays in its corners so that you have even cake. Sometimes I like to shake it back and forth to make sure it's light. The cake will go in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes, but make sure to keep an eye on it.
Now we're taking our cake to the oven. Now I am opening the oven. We're going to take 3 to 4 cups of raspberries and put it in our saucepan. And they can be frozen or fresh. I'm using frozen because
No sugar added.
there's no sugar added. Then I'm going to take my masher and mash up my raspberries.
What are we making here, Keely?
We are making my mom's raspberry filling, which we use in our small cake business. It's our customer's favorite and my favorite, and it's yummy. We're going to put our heat at low medium while we're mashing our raspberries. So as you can see, our raspberries are mashing up. It's okay to have a little bit chunks because the more that we are getting into the process, the chunks will go away. So as I'm mashing this, you can see that there are seeds in there. And if you prefer no seeds, my mom and I take cheesecloth and a strainer and we just pretty much mash the raspberries right through the cheesecloth, and that can divide the seeds from the fruit.
My mom and I like to have a tang to our raspberry filling.
So
So
here
we
we
put
have
1 to 2
kind of a
small
soup
squeezes of
raspberry
lime into our
right over
raspberry
there.
sauce. Roll your lime if it's too
Let
hard
that
to
simmer.
squeeze. This will help. Then mix in 1 cup of sugar. Make sure you let it simmer for about 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, add cornstarch to water and mix slowly into filling. Let simmer. After simmering, you should have a jelly-like filling.
What are we doing now, Keely?
We are going to make
Have
lime syrup
1
for our
cup
cake.
of water and 1 cup of sugar.
bunch
Add
of
to the
limes.
saucepan. Let boil.
Some
Then
sugar.
take off heat, cool, and add 2/3 cup of lime juice.
And water.
Next is our lime Swiss meringue buttercream. You're going to take 8 ounces of egg whites and 16 ounces of sugar and mix in a mixing bowl. Whisk constantly for a while. Then take over a boiling pot of water and whisk as much as you can until it's 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Then take back to the mixer and mix until you can touch it and it's cooler than your hands. Then, by teaspoon, add 1 pound of room temperature butter. When the butter is mixed, make sure to add your lime juice. Now our fondant icing. Add 4.5 cups of compassionate sugar,
Go the
1
right
half
way
cup of
on your
water,
cheese grater.
1/4 cup of light corn syrup, 1/2 teaspoon
Woo!
of vanilla, 1/4 tablespoon of almond extract. Mix all ingredients in a double boiler. After it is lukewarm, take off the double boiler and add a drop of food coloring. To assemble, after freezing the cake for about 30 minutes, flip over the cake onto a sheet of wax paper. Now take a pastry brush and apply a lime syrup to the cake layer. Then cut the cake into halves. After that, spread a thin layer of raspberry jam. Then spread carefully a layer of lime buttercream on top of the jam. Then add the second layer of cake onto the top with another brush of lime syrup. To make the Petit fours evenly 1 inch by 1 inch, cut all rugged edges to make sure that you have an even side. Then I take a cake wiring cutter to make a straight edge. When you're ready to decorate, place on cooling racks and put icing into a container where you can drizzle over the top of the Petit floor to create a clear and smooth coating. When plating, you should always have an elegant piece. I like to do a whole bunch of designs on the plate, so I did little designs with my extra raspberry filling and the icing. I also placed an odd number because odd is always better, and when sprinkling the lime zest, make sure that you don't overdo it because it might ruin your whole piece. And after the lime zest, I just add a little raspberry, and you have your petites. Awesome! You can always add middle pieces, but sometimes it's just too much.
So here we have it. Lime raspberry. Thank you.
There's a creeper back there.
Can you see her?
Yeah.
We have it.
Wait, it was recording now.
Ready?
Uh-huh.
Hello, my name